Hello, this is Scott Balicki from Boston Latin School, and I'm going to give you a quick tour of Chemventory, the online chemical inventory program from Flynn Scientific that Boston Public Schools Science supports. So first of all, a little bit of a rationale for why one would need to learn this. Chemventory allows for there to be a centralized location that multiple teachers can access in order to find out about chemical inventory. It streamlines ordering and record keeping. Something that it allows that everyone may not be aware of is that this is going to be able to bring in the Boston Fire Department as well. This is a way that there can be a single manner of inventory management for Boston public school teachers so that the fire department, as first responders, would be able to know what they were getting into were they to respond to an emergency. The Chemventory makes it very easy to look at safety data sheet information to weigh risks of hazards and educational value for any chemicals that we use. And it's really a best professional practice that we as chemistry teachers can follow in order to ensure that working and learning conditions are optimal for our students, for ourselves and our colleagues, for administrators in the building, for custodians, for first responders, were they ever needed to respond to an emergency. So if there are things that don't get covered in the screencast that you have questions about involving Chemventory, bpsscience@gmail.com is the email to send your questions to, and someone from BPS Science will get back to you quickly with the help that you need. So how does one get access to your database in Chemventory? In late 2014, access codes to all schools were sent out, and they came from the email address chemventory@flynnsci.com with access to your particular database at your school. If you were not at your school, if you were not teaching at that time, a building administrator was also included in those emails. If there's no digital paper trail, so to speak, that you can find your activation code for Chemventory, reach out to bpsscience@gmail.com and they'll help get you connected, because every school and therefore every chemistry teacher should be connected to the Chemventory databases. Everyone is to have access to this so that everyone can inventory and keep track of their chemicals in a streamlined way that's accessible to the fire department and Boston Public Schools. All of our best practices there. So I'm going to show you what this looks like here. So if you were to just Google Chemventory, you would get to the login page. I've logged in before, so I have my information saved there. And when we get into the inventory, we see that we have all of the chemicals listed. I've listed them alphabetically to make it easy for me to find things in this particular exercise here. But I just want to show you a couple of things that you can do in order to use the Chemventory. So adding chemicals, all right? So if you're starting to populate your Chemventory, for example, you're going to need to add all of the chemicals either by going through the storeroom. In that case, it's best to do it with one or two colleagues as opposed to by yourself, or migrating it from another spreadsheet or a database, what have you. So in the Chemventory, you want to add a chemical or a kit, and you can search. So I'm going to search aluminum. And what I see is that there are many chemical compounds containing aluminum. What I was thinking is that I wanted a full roll of aluminum foil. So I'm going to add that in, and we see that there are no particular hazards associated with aluminum foil. This is a very safe substance. So for inventory, I'm going to say that I have purchased one roll. I'm not using the Chemventory alerts to tell us when we get below a certain supply limit. So minimum reorder amount I fill in as 0. School is BLS, Chemventory, storeroom, and metals shelf location. And I can then add the chemical. And if I look in my inventory, I see that I have a full roll of aluminum foil. Now, this can also be done for Flynn kits. Many teachers use Flynn kits. So I happen to know that I want to add the Flynn AP Advanced Inquiry Kit for separation of a mixture, the green chemistry investigation, where you where your students try and determine the percent composition of a mixture of sodium carbonate and sodium bicarbonate. So having searched for the catalog number, I can now add all of these substances that are in the kit. So if I say BLS, storeroom chemistry, shelf location, these are primarily with the carbonates. So I will add a kit and add those chemicals to my inventory. So it's a pretty easy way to add lab kits, which may include several chemicals. Now, one may also need to edit the inventory. Okay, so for example, let's say that I've just completed the ester synthesis experiment with my Chemistry 1 students, in which we have synthesized esters using carboxylic acids and alcohols. So my supply of glacial acetic acid has been depleted. I can select glacial acetic acid and edit the info. And I see now that this is a particularly dangerous chemical. My students had to wear gloves and goggles and aprons, sorts of personal protective equipment, in order to safely experiment with it. And I had 2 liters when I started, but I used 0.1 liters. I used 100 milliliters, so I can remove that much from it. And now it shows up in my inventory that my amount is 1.9 liters. Notice how on this page, when I've just selected the glacial acetic acid, I see the safety pictograms. So I see the particular hazards associated with this substance. And I also see a link to the safety data sheet, so if I want to investigate that more. Now, we do not have to input as we go every single time. What best practice would be considered would be to make sure that your chemical inventory is updated by November 1st of every year. By November 1st of every year is when you want to make sure that you've gone through and all ordered supplies, which generally come in the fall, have been added, and all depleted supplies, which occurred over the previous school year, have been included. So although I gave this example of updating the list directly after the substance was used, that is not the expectation for teachers to do, rather to have it updated by November 1st of every school year amongst the chemistry department, if your chemistry department at your school is greater than 1 teacher. So, just to wrap up here, Cheminventory is a means of using best professional practices in order to ensure that our students, ourselves, and all other people who could be involved in chemistry laboratories are safe. It has some convenient features, although it does take time to initially populate it. It is not a particularly time-consuming system to continue to update. And we do this because we care about our students. We care about providing a safe learning environment for them and safe working conditions for all of the people that we share a building with. And Cheminventory is one of the many ways that we can do that. If you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to bpsscience@gmail.com, and they will get right back to you with their answers. Thank you.